have the pleasure to welcome two leaders from Renault, Nathalie Barbier and Patrice Hamel, who will be presenting their way to agility at Group Renault. And I thank them for taking some of their precious time for us. I will be your host. Stefan and Soon will be your facilitators, and this session will be recorded. One last point before we start. The Business Agility Institute is organizing a global conference from March 22nd to March 25th, and all the benefits will go to Médecins Sans Frontières. If you want to join, I will send the URL in the chat. For the time being, could you put all your mic off, and Son, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I hope you will hear me well with my mask. So welcome, and thanks for being here. Thanks for your participation for tonight. So first of all, I will introduce. Actually, I am in the same room. Just you will probably see Patrice and Nathalie here, but yeah, we're going to introduce. So I'll be your main facilitator for tonight, and I am Soon Ban. So I'm the agile coach here at Renault Digital. So Patrice, Nathalie, yeah. Ladies first.
So Nathalie Barbier, I am managing the Agile Center at Renault Digital for Renault Group.
Patrice Hamel, I am VP in charge of vehicle development within Renault Engineering, Renault Group.
And Stéphane Guédon, I'll be the second facilitator during the celebration in two groups at the end of this session. And I'm also chapter leader for vehicle development, and I work with Patrice, but I'm Renault Digital.
Okay, so quickly after the introduction, we're going to go through the agility at ISIT at Renault, and then we're going to the heart of Renault. So at the vehicle development, you'll see that how we implement actually agility at vehicle development. And we'll also present to you some innovative initiatives that we try to scale at the size of the Renault Group. Then after the conclusion, we're going through a breakout session. And during this breakout session, we would like a contribution from you, from the community on two questions. So yeah, we can go. So Nathalie, the floor is yours.
Okay. So first, I will start introducing. I will not present Renault Group. I think it is not necessary, but a few words about Renault Digital. We are a subsidiary of Renault, created in January 2017, with more than 350 professionals and organized around 5 centers of excellence: Agile, and we all three are part of it. UX, UI, technology, data, and architecture. Our main missions are transforming Renault on these topics at scale, and delivering also digital products with innovation. We are a certified training organization, and we also put in place since the beginning a global steering of the digital transformation, from the executive committee up to each product team, managing the value created, the priorities, and so on.
Okay, so why agility? Agility was not a must. Transformation was a must. So at the beginning, we were looking forward to make a transformation of Renault with 3 main drivers. As usual, business, people, and adaptability. Business was the first point. We are leading a very important transformation within Renault. This is not even a transformation, this is a revolution that we call Renaulution. And within this Renaulution, we have a strong ambition on time to market, on customer satisfaction, on performance. So we must transform. The second point on the people, this is really the most important one. This is where performance comes from. This is where everything comes from. And engagement on Renault used to be very strong, but we need to empower more the people. We need to give more sense. We need to free the energies. So we must transform. And the last one, adaptability is key. Of course, we are facing an environment which is changing every day. So we must be capable to face crisis. That's the situation of today. But not only, we also must be capable to face changes on regulation, changes of customer expectation, changes of technologies. So the automotive industry tomorrow will be quite different from the one it is today. And on top of that, the complexity is huge. The internal complexity is huge. So from that, we must transform. So with these 3 points, we wanted a strong transformation, and agility was a very good answer.
Okay, so a short description about the agile journey within the group. As we are a very large company, and as agile transformation is rather a mid-term journey, I will present it like a serial. So first, a pre-season that started in 2015 with early adopters at ISIT, up to the creation of Renault Digital in 2017. Then in 2018, within ISIT, it was decided to generalize agility everywhere, to change radically the organization, and to start a transformation to go to scaling agile. In parallel, outside of ISIT, we started to test large agile transversal programs, trying to solve some pain points at the group level. And for example, there was a program aiming at reducing the time to solve issues of customers with their multimedia services within cars. And within 1 year, the time was reduced by 2, putting multi-functional teams and all what we know, making them work in agile. So following that, we started season 2, 2019 and 2020. It was the time at ISIT where we introduced and started to deploy a product portfolio management. And in the other functions, we really started to scale agility much more, especially at vehicle development, at quality also, and in smaller impact, smaller complexity. We started resolution teams in many countries and also at purchasing. So now we are in 2021, the beginning of season 3, more in a very frugal environment. We will focus on products and services, and also start to embed much more HR.
Okay, this slide is for me. I think this is my favorite one. This is a slide I use in every time we discuss, we present transformation. This is a change you want to see in the world. I think the main message is this one. This is a message we have repeated all over the company. It's a call for action for everybody. Transformation is now, but the transformation will not be a top-down. Transformation will be made by everybody. So let's make it together. We have a huge opportunity to transform, huge opportunities to stop with the mediocrity. And this is the message we spread all over the company for the 2 years.
Thank you. So now we're going through the agility at ISIT, and it will be mostly presented by Nathalie.
There is a question about Renault Digital.
Yeah, I think Don't hesitate to put your question in the chat because we have some sessions that we're going to answer your questions.
Okay.
At the end of this section.
After this one, we're going to have a quick Q&A.
Okay. So let me introduce the main pillars of agile transformation and ISIT. On the left, you see the two main pillars. The first one was more process-oriented, meaning we introduce in the ISIT process a new product development framework, 100% agile and completely value-driven. As I mentioned before, it was a very key important in ISIT transformation. And by the way, we succeeded to generate more than 1 billion euros of value to the group within 3 years instead of 4 years. That was the initial target. So in addition to that, at least as important, even more, as said Patrice, we also had defined an operating model based on 6 principles that we selected because we thought they were key to accompany and to define what we expected from the organization to become agile. And these principles were used during to explain what was expected of this new organization, which was more or less a sort of a mix between the Spotify model and some safe practices and some adaptations to our context. And during for the deployment, we had an approach in 4 steps. As you may have expected, we deploy this in 6 directions with a group of coach, and of course, no direction followed exactly this path. However, we adapted to the singularity of each of them, and now we are really in the phase of product portfolio and anchoring. So we can go on the next one on the product portfolio. So product portfolio management, we started to train largely in 2019. We trained something like more than 600 people, both business and ISIT. And from the 2020, we started to deploy more in a bottom-up approach. Mainly focusing on 5 domains, 5 areas of products. You can see the representation of the organization. We had domains grouping several teams of products, working on products. And in the other dimension, we had also chapters of expertise. And during this phase, we also trained release-trained engineers that in these 5 areas become completely autonomous to be able to manage by themselves these area of products and organize the release planning extended, which is a sort of PI planning. This year, we will continue, of course, deployment of operational everywhere operational portfolio, but we will focus now also on the strategic layer, meaning trying to link each initiative of the portfolio with a strategic stake of the business. And we will also use, by the way, the OKRs. OKRs was our recommendation in 2019, and now it is deployed at scale at Renault Group. And so each BU and functions using this, it will help us to have an end-to-end portfolio traceability and help also, of course, the prioritization of our portfolio, which is one key point based on value, but also other criteria. So now, let me make a wrap up on taking a step back of what we have done during all these years. For reminder, the very beginning was in 2015. We are into 2021. So our key success factors. First, of course, was a strong support of our executive, and also a significant investment in 2018 and 19 in coaching, which is no more possible in the current time now. The third point was that we had an HR team fully engaged in helping creating the new roles, upskilling and reskilling some people. So that was very helpful. And the change of organization, as I said, it has 80% of people change of managers, and it was a big reshuffle of the organization. It was a key driver to drive a transformation spirit and new mindset. Then what are we proud of? Of course, we are proud of having designed a model fitted with the organization that is largely understood and deployed. Also to have several agile direction committee that have really been able to put in place agile practices and mindset. As an anecdote, at the beginning of the reorganization, we proposed to all directors to do my life as a Scrum Master inside the Scrum teams, mature Scrum teams, during 2 weeks. And it was a real accelerator, a real way to understand what was really happening on the field and what were the spirit and the mindset expected. Of course, we have gone to international, creating also some digital hubs inside the major regions Renault has. We have been strong contributor to the value, and now ISIT is really has reached a good level of maturity, both on mindset and practices, and we are proud of this. Of course, we still have challenges in front of us, as I mentioned, strategic portfolio, but also, and especially with the business units, we have created, we have changed completely the organization early this year. So we need also to be able to work with them, work with their OKRs, and it has started. We need to improve also the way we embed the business leaders even more on digital transformation. And finally, we want also to apply the same model for all the connected services, all the organization called by us a software factory, and developing the connected services.
All right. Yeah, go back. Okay. So now we can have a few. We can take a few questions.
Just questions on the.
Yeah, I know there are great questions actually. So maybe we take the first one. Does a digital group focus on entertainment unit in the car or everything related to software?
Oh, no. The digital Renault Digital is developing products on any part of for any functions of the organization. So globally, there are some products that are improving efficiency of the group. So they have an impact on the bottom line of the group, like, for example, predictive maintenance for factories, or giving tools for new tools for engineering to be more efficient in the way they work. Or other type of tools are more on the sales part, for example, a better transformation of leads to sales. And in this case, this has impact on the revenues of the group.
Okay, thank you. Second one, where did the digital transformation start from, in HR or tech?
It was a good combination of everyone, but with a strong sponsorship of the exec that really wanted to, and I've taken the decision to create this subsidiary to accelerate the transformation, both on the tech side, on all the 5 aspects I have mentioned, both being a rupture, a great change on technology, data, and so on. We hired a lot of data scientists, architects, and so on, but also changing the ways of working on UX to UI, user experience, and agility.
What are the main issues you faced regarding management, change mindset, and behavior?
I think in ISIT, as there was a big sponsorship, as we did some experience, some coaching, and so on, it was not so tough. It went smoothly. However, when we hired people in Renault Digital, telling them you will work with Renault, we are here to work for Renault, and of course we had the PO and so on coming from the business, and we had a lot regular meeting and discussion with their management on the progress. And here it was the real shock was between the management of the functions and the team working in agile and with a different mindset. At the beginning, there was really a very big difference of mindset, startup mindset and traditional group mindset. And step by step, working more with these people, they started to understand that they did not have to do micromanagement of what the team was doing, which was the first tendency. They stopped speaking of cost, but speaking of value first, and we will look at the cost after. Things like that have started to change.
Let's take another one. As an organization practicing agile from 2017 and scaling agile in 2019, did you face a setback in actions due to the pandemic?
On the digital, not at all. And globally in Renault, as Patrice mentioned, all our infrastructure was ready to have everybody. We had invested since 2017 in digital. So everybody had the tools. There was a quick push at the beginning to give some laptops to some people who didn't have, but globally there was no impact to be working remotely, and the group went very well through this one with a good reliability, full cloud, and it went okay. Do you want to comment?
If I may, no step back, maybe some slowdown because we were not able to go as fast as we would have liked, yes. But no step back. And it was almost very efficient during this period.
Okay. And I think we take the last one here because this one, I think it's good for respond is someone say great successes, but any failures?
Yes, we had, of course we had failures. For example, one of the challenge we had is, and it was the one that lasted the most in digital, one of the longer, is to have the business, the POs, understand that it's not useful to run only on adding more content. Quality is key, and investing the time you need to fix your technical debt and make sure that what you deliver will last long, will be solid in performance, in quality, and so on. It was very difficult to have this change of mindset. So sometimes we had some products that after 2 or 3 releases spent 3 months only fixing technical issues because they are not been able to manage. And sometimes we went to a very bad situation because of that.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, we have to move on. So Next part is agile at vehicle development. But first, you want to say well? Yes.
Just to say that we would like to start with a video, which is very inspiring, which is coming from someone which is my master in agility. So, very sorry for the vocabulary, but it was very important for me. This is a video we have used a lot internally. Of course, it is nothing else about Renault. This is not about the automotive industry, but it is very much about the mindset we are pushing, we are fighting for. So we have used this video just to explain the mindset and to provoke reaction, to make clear that something is happening and that transformation was now. Or just one, it's enough.
we have great feedback on the video.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. I love it. So yeah, maybe this slide. So to make it very short, when you are talking about vehicle development, you are talking about a huge perimeter. This perimeter is covering vehicle upper body, platform, E&E, and so on. So the key question was how to organize that in an agile mode. As of today, we have around 170 team working in agile, meaning that with the agile mindset, some agile practices and new processes. Of course, the key point is to synchronize all these teams. And as you can see in the slide, we have organized the synchronization between vehicle working on vehicle working on E&E and software. And we have even a dedicated team, that we call delivery team, working on this synchronization of these two worlds of agility. Maybe you can move to the next one. So we decided not to copy-paste a model coming from outside the company because we wanted to find a model which was fitting to our why. So we decided to start from our situation, to start with our vision, where do we want to go, to start with a clear set of values. And with this clear set of values, we stick to agility being nothing else but the famous value coming from the Agile Manifesto, but I think all of you know better than me. With this global frame, we decided to define this model, starting with the mindset. At the very beginning, it was mindset-centric, human-centric, and I was personally convinced that that was the starting point. Very soon, with the team, we decided not to focus only on human-centric and mindset, but also to implement some agile practices and continue process. And this is an important feedback on my side. I think this is very important to transform, to manage in parallel these two approaches. So how to make it? First, we started from customer. The real one, the one which is buying to drive our car. So from the customer, we wanted to define what are the deliverables. These deliverables was defined in activities and in competencies, and a squad, a group, a team working in agile, that I call squad, is nothing else but the group of these competencies, a group of the skills requested for the deliverables expected by the customer. This is obvious. This is only good sense, but it was a revolution. Why? Because up to now, we used to have some standard function coming from each silo with standard deliverables, standard KPIs, and having in the same team, everybody working with the same objective, the same KPI, which is the customer, it is no more relevant to fight for internal deliverables, to fight for internal KPIs between a silo to another one. So having a team, a squad made only from the customer, it was very efficient to break the silos and to make a team. That was the starting point. With that, we defined some teams. We have to develop a vehicle, let's say to develop the new Megane. We have between 20 to 40 teams, which are multidisciplinary. And each team is composed by 10 to 14 people. We are trying not to exceed 14, 15. Team empowerment is a must, a real empowerment. Up to now, we used to give the responsibility of someone. In this approach, we are trying to secure the fact that if a team has a responsibility, the team has all the means, all the tools to make the job. So empowerment is a must, and we want the decision to be taken at the team level. The mindset was key. So fail fast, learn fast was the basis. We wanted to implement a tolerances for mistake. A team can make a mistake, no problem. But in the same time, we want to be very intolerant for the mediocrity. We want to fight for the performance. We want to fight for the customer. Of course, synchronization was key. I mentioned it. And competencies is a must. So this is maybe a sentence which is too much engineering, but it's very important. Up to now, we used to have one people working on N project. This is a 1 to N, the first part of the sentence. With that, we don't have a real team, and you start to organize agenda, meetings, deliverable, and so on. So we switched, and we decided to have dedicated people in teams. So one person for one project, as an example, one person for the new Megan. But to do so, we said that this person could have N competencies, N skills, multi-competencies, in order to have dedicated team and to be much more efficient. Of course, this is a breakthrough in the way we deal with the competencies. And in each team, of course, we have POs oriented to customers. I propose to move to the next one. Okay, maybe this slide is too much heavy, but this is the one we use internally. I just wanted to use it to focus on 4 messages, but I will not comment globally. The first one is a cross-functional in plateau. Plateau meaning in physical zone. A squad is a team which meets in a physical zone. At the beginning, that was very important. Of course, with today's situation, main part of the team is working from home, and it does work. So we are trying to combine a weekly organization with people meeting physically, maybe once a week at least, and the rest of the time being able to work from home. And it's not a big deal. It's okay. And second comment on this one, the physical plateau is organized within 2 countries. So we have one part of the plateau which is in France, another part of the plateau which is in another country, as an example in India. So we are trying to organize this squad animation in a physical plateau with someone meeting physically, someone working from home the rest of the time, with their counterparts in India, as an example. The second point is servant leader. I think this is obvious, but for us, that was an important change we are pushing for. Continuous technical definition and QCD management is just to explain that we want to adapt. We are adapting significantly the way we develop cars with this new agile approach. And the last one is very important too. Supplier is part of the job. We cannot create values with silos internally. We cannot create values with silos for Renault and suppliers. So no more silos. We are inviting the suppliers to work in the same team and to create value together, of course, with a clear contract. All of that is supposed to simplify deliverables and processes. I propose to move to the next one. So, wrap up. We have launched this approach maybe 2 years ago. The development of the first vehicle in Agile is still ongoing. So we are very humble, very modest, but we are fighting for. Key success factor. High-level sponsorship is key. Nathalie mentioned it, and I very strongly support. Progressive deployment with test and learn. We started with a POC. We tuned the POC. We started the first project with a model we called step 1. So it was clear that there would be additional steps. We are now in a step 2, and most probably there will be a step 3 after. So progressive deployment with test and learn approach. Of course, it's very important to adapt our core processes, our core engineering processes, according to agile practices. It was an important job, but we made it, and this is a key success factor. And maybe the most important one was a global acculturation of everybody, starting by the managers who should lead the transformation. Successes. So, as I said, we are ongoing, so very humble, but at the beginning, we wanted to see stars in the eyes of everybody. So far, we have some stars in the eye, so we are happy, but this is not so factual. So as a fact, everybody which has worked in an agile team doesn't want to come back to previous old-fashioned way. So this is a strong success. Meetings has been reduced, deliverables has been simplified. To be fully transparent, we are not where we want to be, but we already have some successes on that, but we continue to push. Decision is for sure more simple, and decision is now taking at a squad level instead of going to official meeting with the boss and the boss and the boss. Time to market is key. With what we have implemented, we have seen some strong improvement on our time to market, being the time to develop a car, a Megane. But of course, this is still in front of us as the first car is not finished, so ongoing. Main challenges is scalability. The company has decided to move to full agility for all the projects being developed on Renault, being developed in France, in another country. So this scale agility is an important challenge in front of us. In a worldwide approach, as I mentioned, the mindset was key, and we cannot implement as simply as that what we have made in the French mindset in another country. So we must implement this approach with some different culture, being in Korea, being in Romania, being in India, being in Brazil, still in front of us. Of course, we want to revisit, as I mentioned, our model. So we are revisiting in step 2 the squad composition in order to reshape the squad and to be more efficient with some multi-competencies approach. So same approach as the one we had in the beginning, but a new step we want to make in this approach. And the last point, of course, is we want to keep working on efficiency with this model implement to an industrial environment. I think that's all for me.
Okay, thank you. No, go back. We can take some few questions here. So, what is the role of chief vehicle engineer and chief quality engineer? How do you adapt the checks made as part of progress meetings?
So, chief vehicle engineer is the guy in charge of the development of a vehicle. He is leading a team composed by 20 to 40 squad. He is personally in charge of a squad, what we call vehicle squad, and is in charge of the synchronization between the squad. So no change for him, except the fact that he will in the future take less decision, as a bigger part of the decision will be taken by the squad. Chief quality engineer is involved in the CVE team, no change for him.
Okay. Someone say you mentioned you wish to keep working on efficiency. What about seeking for effectiveness, doing the things right versus doing the right things?
This is the core of where we are. As I mentioned, we want to allow team to make mistakes. So we want to allow team not to make right at the first time. But of course, we are aiming to do so. So this is something we are implementing in the step 2 approach.
Okay, number one, how do you manage dependencies between squads?
Synchronization of the squad, that is the question. Mm-hmm. So we organized the rhythm of each squad starting from the natural rate of each one. And we are trying to synchronize a sprint of each squad. Maybe I'm not clear enough. The usual time for a sprint is 3 weeks. So we organize a sprint between the teams in order for all the sprints to be synchronized. But in some cases, the 3 weeks is not relevant for our team. So we have some release, which is a global synchronization of all the team in order to gather all the feedback of the team to align everybody and to restart for the new sprint. So that's a combination of sprint and release. I think this is the answer to your question.
And synchronization meeting.
And synchronization. Thank you, Stefan.
Number one, what are your practices to move from leader to servant leader?
Stop taking decisions, start listening, start helping, stop organizing meeting, go on the Gamba, go on the product and just help the team. This is a very easy message to formalize, but a nightmare in the day-to-day. So I am not where I think I should be as a servant leader, but I'm trying to do it.
There's one maybe that you can also answer, Stefan, is how do you implement and adapt the SAFe framework?
That's a question for you.
We don't really adapt SAFe, but we took some insight from SAFe to ease solution inside vehicle development. But we begin with the teams, with the people inside the teams, inside the project to find a good solution to organize the teams. For example, a squad or a team is around 40 people, sometimes more. It's not a problem for us. So we took many liberties, freedom with SAFe or any at-scale model. But we use all and try to find the best solution from all. And I think the key point given by Patrice is we began with the Agile Manifesto. In fact, we revisit Agile, we find solution dedicated to the context of vehicle development. And we go as we, it's like where we were at the beginning of IT Agile. We have to find new solution and to refresh our mind, especially for coaches.
If I may comment, as I mentioned at the beginning, the adaptability is key. You don't have two projects similar. Each project is very specific with a specific customer, specific country, specific regulation, specific technology, specific skills. So there is no solution. So we strongly want each project to tune, to adapt the global model to its own context. And maybe I was not clear enough on the fact that the model was not a top-down. This is really this is a model we co-design with everybody in the project. So this co-design has defined a first reference, and we are tuning it for all projects. And this is a complete freedom we are giving to each project.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just taking the last one. If customers could participate in the plateau, who you choose? Which type of customer you will choose in the plateau?
I don't get your point.
How can we work closely with customers on the plateau? Today is not the case, but
this is the dream to have the real customer in the plateau. Two answers. One is we have how can I say that? So we define a typical customer, which is not a true one, but we want this guy to be very clear. So we say the customer of this car is a man which is 45 years old, he's married, he has 2 kids, his revenue is this one and so on. So we try to make this customer clear, even if not existing, even if not real, but we try to align everybody for this one. So this is just a first approach to make customer in the mind of everybody in each squad. Second comment, we are accelerating the presentation of our project to our customer. We used to do so, but as you can imagine, this is quite confidential. So it was not done as often as we should. So we are speeding up. We are multiplying this presentation of real project to real customer. So this is ongoing now.
And every people in Renault could be a customer.
Is.
Well, thank you, Patrice. Yeah, we are way behind schedule, so we need to move on. I'm sorry, you have a lot of questions, but we have to move on. Go. Okay, last part, we're going to talk about the scale agility with some initiatives that we launched from last year.
Yes, so as you can imagine, to deploy agility within such a large company, we cannot have an agile coach behind each team. So we had to select some tools, both for example, for teams, next to teams who have started and want to start by themselves, or for teams we have been accompanying, and when we leave, they need to continue continuous improvement and be able to improve their practices. So first, of course, we put in place a corporate site where we share reference practices, reference definitions of roles, and a lot of experience feedbacks from various parts of the organization, the events coming, and a lot of communication. For teams, we provide also a sort of support service called the Flying Squad. We help creating communities, and because for us it's very key for improving sharing practices and improving level of practices, and we animate also a community of communities, and we provide also tools for teams to improve by themselves their maturity and their performance. And at individuals, we of course have trainings, a lot of various trainings available, and all moved remote last year. But we have also invested on some mentoring programs to certify, in fact, what we call certify agile roles, agile relays, and also international advocate. Agile Relays is a specific program to in fact have people being our relays of the agile practices and principles within their organization. And this is very key, these certification programs for us, because it is really a way to anchor agility within the organization. And we are very demanding on people. It's very ambitious. We are not giving a certification just after a training. It's a real mentoring. And we use also the open badge for recognition on the investment and visibility. So we have a lot of things to do here.
Sure.
Yes.
So yes, now we conclude before the breakout session. So, Nathalie and Patrice.
Yes, so now we have shared with you what we are proud of, but we have still a lot of challenges, of course. The first one is that we have to address, as I mentioned, the new organization, the business units, and make sure that we are aligned with the new strategy, for example, there is one key point that Renault want to become a tech company, and it's something where we can help a lot. Tech company has a different way of working. It's not only about technology, it's also about mindset. Patrice?
Yes, the second challenge, which is key, is the sponsorship. As I mentioned, this is key. This is secured at the Renault level. Our new CEO is pushing us a lot in the Renaulution, so this is secured. But we should secure the fact that we will have some strong sponsorship wherever we implement the agile mode, being in all the countries, all the domains, all the activities. And this is always a challenge to have all the executives all over the world supporting this transformation.
Another key success factor and still challenge for us is to have a full adoption by human resources. So it has started, for example, we have just started to change our performance process, including some behavior criteria inside the performance process, which is a revolution inside Renault, not looking only at factual results, but also on behavior. But there is still a lot of things to do.
So we must increase our maturity. We must fight for scale agility all over the world. And this is a continuous approach which is still in front of us. I think we are just at the beginning of the story. So we need to increase our maturity globally to develop better product and better services.
And to finish on the right side, we have put really some challenges where we are looking for ideas. The first one is really this mindset evolution at management, how to find some practices to make it happen in frugal mode, as I said. In 170,000 people, there are a lot of managers, so we need to find some other ways to make it happen.
We must find a way to implement our approach in a worldwide dimension, as I mentioned. This is key for the culture. This is key for the efficiency. This is also very complex. I would like to take just one example. We have one team working with 10% in France, 10% in India, but this is only one team working with this agile approach. So the mindset, but also the global efficiency is still a challenge in front of us.
And of course, we are working to find some new innovative and frugal initiatives to spread agility across the.
All right, no. We're going to take a last Q&A here before the breakout session. So to answer the question of Stefan, stay until the end, so then you will have our email to contact us, so don't worry about that. So one question is, do you manage velocity in the squad, or, and better, do you manage explicitly business value provided at each sprint?
It depends on the domain. In IS/IT, we manage both velocity and value. In vehicle development, we are beginning on estimation and velocity, and the value is key for us, of course. It's part of the objectives of the teams. But on the side of how many it costs. And by the way, it's our objective to deliver value for us and for our customers. But we have different level of maturity according to the.
Yes. Yeah.
the journey of each team.
To support what Stéphane said, in ISIT, of course, we manage at sprint level velocity, but we try also to work on predictability, stability, more advanced indicators now as we are starting to be mature. And in terms of value, it is estimated every release, every 3 months. In fact, at the beginning of the year, the product owner tried to forecast the value created by his products, and we follow this quarterly.
Yes, no specific comment. Value is key. I think we should improve, but value is key for each squad. Velocity, I think we are not managing it because I don't understand the question. So, so for me, we don't do it.
About performance of the team, how they deliver.
Yes,
Today,
but this is not a velocity answer. This is more
it's a way.
a critical question.
Yeah, in fact, today we are working on the engagement of the team. I mean, if the team say we will do this during this sprint, we are working on the fact that they bring or doing the right thing during the sprint. But for today, in terms of estimation, in terms of predictability, few teams are beginning to work with this kind of IT solutions to test if it's usable in our context. But the main trouble is we are moving from silos to cross-functional teams, cross-competencies team, and at the beginning, we won't be able to estimate globally at the team level, but function by function. But it's quite difficult today for us.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. We take last one. I think this question is mainly because of our time. Is how did the organization strategy address environment, social, and governance issues along with this transformation? Yeah. So.
Maybe I can take a small part of the answer. This is an important transformation we are leading. This is a transformation of the way we develop cars, but also on the way we manage the teams. And we are making this transformation with all the unions. Each trade union is working with us. I had a meeting this afternoon to explain exactly where we want to go, and we want to make this transformation with everybody. So all the social partners are involved in the transformation. Of course, we don't agree with everything because that's live, but we are talking about everything, and that's key.
But to answer also on other aspects, in the Renaulution strategy, of course, we have aspects on the climate change, and we are working hardly in it, but also on the new RC strategy. So it's part of the Renaulution strategy, but we are not the best person to give details on it. However, the climate is led by our exec in ISIT, so we should know a little more about it, but not in fact.
Okay, so thank you. We're going to move on to the breakout session. So we're going to divide into 2 groups, and we have 2 questions on these 2 groups. So we would like a contribution from you all that participate. So Jean-Yves, you're going to split us in 2 different virtual rooms, and then we're going to discuss on the question that we proposed to you, to all of you in the separate room.
Okay.
Okay, we are back again.
Okay, do you hear? Yes, I guess.
Sure.
Can you hear us, Jean-Yves?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We've been kicked out of our workshop, but it's okay, it was time. So we have to conclude. I'm sorry, it was very, very short. And yeah, we're going to conclude. You have our contact on the bottom of the slide. So don't hesitate to take them. And yeah, maybe shortly and to conclude, Nathalie and Patrice.
Yeah, just one thing I can do is all the people that have been that are registered through. I have the list of the people that are registered. So if you want, I can send the information for Stefan and Soon, for example, or it's up to you.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, and thank you to all participants that gave us some insights and some ideas.
I do support. To be fully transparent, I was convinced that 15 minutes would have been too short. And of course, it was too short, but I'm surprised it was very interesting. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your feedback. And I'm very open to continue discussing.
Yes, Nathalie, you want to say last word? Or?
No, it was also many thanks to have participated to these events and to have exchanged with us. And I hope we will be able to exchange with the community further on other topics. And it was our first participation to an event, and we are very happy on that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for you to have and Soon and Stefan, and you too, Nathalie and Patrice, to have taken some time to share with us your journey, and it was very interesting, frankly, and I hope that we will have other workshops with a lot of ideas like this that you can leverage or you can work on.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.